Okay, so this is kind of a follow-up from the prior video, and specifically that is when we talked about selling below price and buying above price. On Friday, you can see here, 7/19/2019, we had this 29.97 blue line. Okay, so this is a red line on these charts, they're blue. So we had a couple of tests here. I don't want to review Friday because I want to talk about Monday. The 22nd actually. This is the overnight session of the 21st. So we had a couple tests here, and now so we're short. Okay, so everyone should have been short. Past here, we have a couple breakdowns. I'll move my cursor in a second. Past these lows here, so we want to short that. If you missed it, it was really nice of this to pop back up and give a nice little entry here. So in between the blue lines, we're always going to have, I shouldn't say always, but we're most likely going to have orange lines. The next blue line wasn't until 50 points away. The likelihood of the market dropping 50 points is quite unlikely given the type of volume we have. There's not a lot of exciting things going on. So what we want to do is we want to take profit, or at least some profit, at these orange lines. So at 84.5 and at 82, if it gets there, of course, we can see after the fact it did. And so then what we can do is we can trade what we like to call alpha. You can get in on some really nice, accurate trades. So if you completely liquidated, or if you have a different account, you can scalp long positions here. Sometimes these will go all the way back to the blue line. Sometimes they don't. And we just, we take what we can get. We look for failure. Failure just means that if we're going to run, we're going to run. So if we come back to the line, that would be failure to the upside, right? So we can test that again, but we want to look for, again, what I said in the beginning, long above, short below. So we have a breakdown here. So we want to be short. And we have a really big gap from the 82 all the way down to 69.2. We got one tick away from it, right on the closing candle. So you have a couple of nice, really big runs here. You got just under 13 and actually as much as 15 points if you took it to the 82, and then another almost 13 points down to the next one, so 12 fillable points. So then what we want to do every night before the next day is look at where are the next targets. And I have this screen split because this is where Sunday session begins into Monday, and we can see we immediately have a couple of blue lines here. So if we were short earlier from Friday, and we know that we have orange lines in the middle on the way to the next blue line, which again is 50 points away, then there's a lot of activity that can happen. And so it doesn't mean that we're going to capture the 50 points, because what we want to do is we want to look at, okay, what's the next day's price levels showing us as far as targets. So we have right at the open, this is the open we gapped up here. We are right in the middle of these blue lines here. So we can test these as resistance, but remember, we want failure at these lower levels in order to, in other words, in order for this not to be holding as support, okay? So because we opened above it, we tried to dip below it, but we don't have any follow through down here. Okay, we start gravitating upwards, higher highs, higher lows, and we just kind of sit here. Yes, we have success up here, but we just kind of sit here forever. So just remember that the play is always going to be, just to keep it simple and to know what direction you should be in, we want to be long above price, short below price. Okay, so if you held any from here at 97, you want to be done, because if we're not having breakdowns from a low that was set, and especially from Friday's low, then it's not going to happen. Or I should say the likelihood of it happening is probably not going to happen, especially, and you're looking at a span of several hours here. So this is about 4 hours. And so if we scroll through, it just sits here for about 8 hours total, just back and forth and back and forth. But you're still long because we're above this 73 price. So you should have been out, now you're long, and then we go into the RTA, well, not quite. This is still the overnight session. So remember, so we've got the orange line here, And by the way, the next, let me go back this way. Our target now we're long. Our target is going to be 89.5. Okay, so we have between 13 and 16 points depending on where you got in down here. Okay, so we have a 13 to 16 point range, and we're going to look to take some profit at 82 and or 86.75. And remember, you can always test those. You can scalp and go short, but the play is long because we are above it. So we take some profit, we go short. And by the way, if you're scalping a situation like this, if you're scalping opportunities like this and you get in, it does go almost 4 points here, and let's say it doesn't hit this and it just comes back, the best thing to do if you didn't take profit is just to get out of that short position. Obviously, try to take what you can, at least to cover commissions. But if you didn't play it right, don't fret about it, because our long-term play is long. So what do we look for? We look for breakouts. We're trying to pass this orange line, which we attempted here, failure, attempted again, failure, attempted again, all through here, failure. So we keep an eye out for this, okay? And so we finally have it. We break through. This is still early in the morning. Okay, so we're holding long positions. So if you're trading multiple contracts, which ideally you should be, or at least get to the point where you're doing that, maybe start off with micros so that you can really take advantage of these movements. Once we have a breakthrough, so this would be a breakout, right? Then we need to get whatever contracts we took out for profit back on the table, okay? Because we're still in the long-term position. So the next target, we still have to fight this 86.75. So we want to take profit there. We can scalp for alpha. So we short here. Where we take profit, it's always going to be the next price. So we scalp here, we take profit here, and then of course you can go long. Okay, so again, we're still in the same trade. In the back of our minds, we're always remembering that we want to be long above, short below, okay? And so we make another attempt here. This is where we would get out. You could have obviously traded this again. We're making another attempt. So we've got some pre-open activity about an hour before the market opens. We're getting an increase in volume. So we can keep testing these. You just have to realize that the more you trade a price, the weaker a price becomes. It's like at some point it's going to break. So we always have to be careful of that. So usually the first pass or the second pass and the first time something gets hit is usually safe. And so this just ping pongs back and forth between these price levels that obviously you could have got in on plenty of times. You're always securing positions you still have in. And so you're really never at risk on any of these trades, even if you traded all of them, which they obviously all won. And then we finally get, so I'm in Mountain Time currently. So for me, the regular trading hours, RTH opens at 7:30, and we have another drop from the 86.75 down to the 82, and then we finally hit our target at 89.5 to the tick with 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. And remember, because these prices are so accurate, we usually want to be within 1 or 2 ticks in front. So we're going to take profit a couple ticks below here. So 89 and a quarter. You don't want to be in a position and you have your order on the line and then it just sits there and doesn't fill you. That would be the worst thing. So we want to be taking profit before it gets there. So either way, you're out. And so the next target, of course, is where we originally got back in the overnight session. Is that going to happen? It might not. And so what we do is we trade the prices that are given. These prices, 86.75 and 82, have worked really well for ever since the first one hit at my time, 4:33 in the morning, for 3 hours. So we want to be cautious. So if we're going to trade that, we want to maybe lower contract volume. So maybe don't trade as much and just, get some scalp trades in there. We're short. Okay, we're short from here. So we get out of our long. Now we go short. And our original target is back where we got in earlier, 13 to 16 points away. Is it going to get back down there? It's possible, but we have to battle with these prices here. Okay, it's going to be a back and forth until we can get a solid direction. Okay, so we're dominant short. So you can test this long here, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles where it doesn't work out. So this is a minute chart, so it's 6 minutes. And I know the question comes up, how long should I stay in a trade before I know it's not working? Obviously the most ideal trades are going to be like this, like this, like this. The ones that work fast, obviously, are the ones that we want. If you're stuck in a trade for more than you feel comfortable, then just get out, take the trade off, and reassess. We are short here, so we do want to take profit here because the market could stop here and then rally up, but we still hold shorts. We take some here, and then obviously we want to take some down here. We can try long, and then back here for this retest. And then this would have been, so let me actually go like this. So this would have been a really beautiful run down, but we didn't pass this low here. So these are some really nice trades where we have support all through here, and then we have a nice break, and then we come up to test that support. Love these trades. You got to get into these trades, but you have to watch for previous lows to be broken or it's not going to go. Okay? Tried, and that was it. And we didn't go. Made one more attempt to the tick, and we didn't get past these lows. When you see that, you got to get out. You've got to get out of that position. Okay? And especially through here. So here's the opposite of that. Support, break, resistance, break, support. Got to take those trades. Okay, so at this point, if we're not going to break these, what are you going to do with this short up here? If you're not already out, you got to just liquidate that because we're not having breakdowns. This is our clear sign that this downward trend, it's over, even if it's temporary. Could we blast through down here? Of course, but we have to get through this low. Okay, so you got to be long on these trades there. Where's our target? Well, we've got to get back to, take some profit here and then back here. I have no idea. People ask, how many points is that? I don't know. 50 points on the day, 30, 60. It just depends on, how you took profit, where you got out from your original position, how much of the size that you were trading you took off, if it was 30%, so it's really difficult to say. The important thing, I'll cover that in a second. The important thing is to not really focus on the points, but focus on the strategy, focus on the game, because it doesn't really, if you get caught up in points, which is great. I mean, obviously that's money, but doing this for as long as I have, if you focus on what you're doing instead of looking at your points that you're making, you'll be much more effective at trading the markets than worrying about every little tick and every little point. Follow the strategy, get in where you're supposed to, get out where you're supposed to, and the rest takes care of itself. Okay, so we have another approach up here, and then obviously through here. So when we hit a price like that multiple times, at some point we have to anticipate that it's just going to break through. Now, obviously we don't know when that's going to happen, but we have these other prices, these orange lines, to aid us in getting in on positions. So we're long here, take some profit here, definitely want to take some profit here, and we can do the same thing that we've been doing all night long, trading some nice little alpha here. You go short, you take profit here. We're long from here, so we're going to want to make sure that we add positions back, right? And then another attempt, probably going to, there's a good chance it's going to break. We don't know that it is. It obviously did. So here's the thing with this one. The next price level above here is actually 10 points away. So we've had a really light day. The volume has been pretty light. Now it has picked up, but it's not a ton of volume. So even though we've picked up, is that enough to really run us 10 more points on a day like this? I don't know. It's possible. So what we want to do if we're looking at this in real time, if we were pretending like this is real time, we probably honestly would have been short, or long here. So 82 to 89, we've got 7+ points there, plus whatever we were able to scalp out of this run, this period through here. And this is going nice volume, but look at the volume. It just decreases. It just dies down really hard and really fast. So we can try this long, and if we scroll through, it actually starts to work. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then by minute 7 and 8, actually 7, 8, and 9. So we're in this almost 10 minutes, and it's not going. So we want to watch here, 89. This is going to really be the tell-all if this is going to actually go or not. And sure enough, it actually didn't. So probably actually lose about a point on that. So we can try this, and then the rest of the day just kind of goes back and forth. We do make it back. This eventually held, but we got this stuff in here that, if you look at the volume here, it's just garbage volume. It just really died down, even up to the cash equity. So anyways, we're back to our position. And so what we're looking for at this point, we definitely want to be out because the market's almost closed. So we're out of our position. And what we want to look for is we want to look for price to have success or failure above or below this 89.5 price. Yeah, 89.5. So as we move into Globex, which is actually going on right now, that's what we want to watch for. And so here's actually tomorrow's numbers. So we just repeat the same thing. So if you're trading Globex, you just, from this price here, even though we don't have that price for Tuesday the 23rd, it's still the same trade. Okay, so we're long. We look at, okay, where's our next target? 96.75. So if you were long here, then that's the target. We're dropping away from that. And so we just repeat that whole process over and over and over again. It's the same thing every single day. And that's why it's important. Don't focus on points. Don't focus on the little, a tick here and a tick there. Focus on the strategy. Focus on the game that you're playing. I like to say it that way because you should perform the same way every single day, regardless of what volume we have, how much the market's moving, and just focus on these prices, and we will ricochet between them all day long. It's just a matter of positioning yourself, and if you just keep it simple, we want to be short below price, long above price, then that's it. That's all we got to do. And then we just do the same thing day in, day out. This is the ES. There's a total of 10 markets currently I run prediction points on, and you can do this on any one of them. I love the ES, lots of volume, well, except for today. But you can trade a lot of contracts, and you don't have to worry about thinly traded market like some of the other markets. Even though they're good, this is just something that I personally prefer, but you can trade any of them the exact same way, and we follow the same rules day in and day out. So anyways, that's a wrap, and we'll continue this training series in the next video.